You're looking to play as Wei, Wu, or Shu, Liu Bei, Cao Cao, Jian. Each of them have at least one scenario where the rating system just does not match up. If you played Koei games for a little while, you know that Koei's rating system is all over the place. I'll probably have more videos talking about different scenario ratings, okay, because that can be its own series. But for this video, these three, okay, you got to watch out, especially if you're starting out. These are newbie traps for Three Kingdom players. You started playing Dynasty Warriors. You're like, I want to play Cao Cao. I want to play as Liu Bei, Jian, all that good stuff. We're going to start with the first one, from the easiest all the way to the hardest. So let's start with that one. The very first one, from the easiest to hardest, we have Jian. Jian, now this is Romance 14, but again, this can apply to all of the games. Any of the Yellow Turban Rebellions. Wu's most difficult start is Jian in Yellow Turban. If Jian exists in the Yellow Turban Rebellion, that's the one. Okay, that's Wu's most difficult start, period. Here we have a modest rating of 2. 2-star rating. Let's look at the map. Here we are, Jian, 184. Just 14,000 troops. You're bordering the Yellow Turbans, which again, depending on the game, it can be pretty severe. In Romance 14, it's not too terrible. However, it's purely RNG whether the Turbans send all these troops into the east, into Beihai, and then attack you immediately. One thing is for sure, Three Kingdom games are not known for their diplomacy. Okay, so even though you are allied with the Han court, with He-Jin's faction, he can't do anything to help you. Okay? Again, keep in mind, as a new player, I have seen over the years so many people complain. How are you supposed to do this? Jian's, or people just laughing. How is this a 2-star rating, a 1-star rating depending on the game? Well, yeah, your roster is strong. Duh. You're playing as Wu, Shu, or Wei. Okay? We already know that the roster's strong. Doesn't matter what's going on. The roster is going to be good, right? The problem is, this scenario is full of traps. If you go up into Beihai, you're going to get stuck fighting. If you try to hold the ground, you're going to get stuck. You're going to get beaten down. You're trying to learn the game mechanics, and these turbans are just going to bull rush you. The only way to survive, the only way really to survive, is to run away. This is the time-honored tactic in Romance of the Three Kingdoms games. I don't even know if you call it a tactic. Depending on who you ask. Some people say it's valid, some people say it's cheesing. We're not going to get into that. The only way to survive here is to just run away. Okay, that's the answer. If you're a new player, you're not going to know that. You're going to join in, you're going to look at Jian's stats. You're going to say this guy's a monster. This guy's a beast. Again, it doesn't matter what the game is. That's the reason you're here. That's the reason you picked the Tiger. You're going to assume that you can just run right through the Yellow Turbans. And yeah, they're not that strong, but they are numerous. And depending on the game, the numbers will either matter a lot or they won't matter too much. But you'll never make it that far because it's just too much. They're too high. It doesn't matter what game it is. Specifically in 14, again, diplomacy is dead in this game. Don't expect any help from here. The only way to survive specifically is to run south. Okay? Huge. I have no idea how this scenario is rated 2 stars. I really don't. Go out there and see for yourself. Try the scenario yourself. This is a very tough start. I would put this scenario at 4 out of 5 stars. Okay? Any scenario that you have to run, your starting move is to run backwards. Okay? Any scenario that you have to do that is a tough scenario. You have to do, keyword, have to. That's Jian, toughest scenario. ROTK 14 puts it at 2 stars. Most of the time, it's somewhere around easy recommendation. I'd say 4 stars out of 5, easily. If you're a new player, stay away from this one. Do not play Wu in 184. Okay, so looking at Wei. Wei's hardest start in Romance of the Three Kingdoms across all the games. Just looking at the historical baseline scenarios that are included in every game, not fictional starts, nothing like that. A lot of people make this mistake playing this scenario because it's a biggie. 190, anti-Dongzhuo coalition. Now, props to Koei because somebody was paying attention. They gave Cao Cao a 4 out of 5 stars here. And I completely agree. Let's go look at the map. Okay, so we've got the map booted up, and I don't know if anything really needs to be said about this one. I will say the funniest thing about this is how many people will request Cao Cao or recommend Cao Cao 190 almost as an inside joke. Long-time players across the forums, videos, and all that. People who know. If you know, you know, right? They will recommend other players to play this just to troll them, okay? 190 Cao Cao, again, this is the most difficult start for Wei. Lu Bu sits at Hualao Gate. Yes, you're allied with the coalition, but again, in most Romance of the Three Kingdom games, alliances don't mean anything more than your immediate neighbor will not attack you. That's pretty much it, okay? There's nothing really baked into diplomacy in this game either, in Romance 14, beyond, hey, you don't want to be attacked, form an alliance. That's it. So you can't really expect any help. Now with the coalition, it is a little different. The AI may make some moves, but in this specific situation, Dongzhuo's forces are so stacked that it's highly unlikely that anyone is going to do anything other than hide in behind their respective walls and try to hold out. So as Cao Cao, you really will feel challenged, okay? It used to be even worse in past games. Remember I said this is an evergreen newbie trap for Wei. For a Wei player, somebody looking to play as Wei in any of the games. In past games, Romance 7, for example, there was no event for a coalition. So it wasn't, out of the ordinary to boot up an older copy of Romance of the Three Kingdoms and just watch the Wei player get wiped out by Dongzhuo almost immediately within a year. And if you're not playing as Cao Cao, it is very possible that unless the chaining scheme goes off where Lu Bu assassinates Dongzhuo, it is very possible that Dongzhuo will just roll right through Cao Cao. And if you are playing as Cao Cao in this, Koei's very famous anti-player aggression is going to make life very hard for you. They gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I agree with it. The only reason I say 4 out of 5 and not 5 out of 5 is because, again, you have hope in the form of running away. Okay? Running away. Again, it's just the only way to do it, man. Especially if you're a new player. It's holding your ground here. Again, doesn't matter what the game is. Holding your ground in Cao Cao against Dongzhuo's might is an absolute nightmare. Your best bet might be Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8, where you can call allies to almost show up immediately to help you attack Dongzhuo, so maybe you can take the fight to him. But outside of that, you are in big trouble. As strong as your roster is, Lu Bu can just tear through everybody. And you don't have the troops. You may not have the time, depending on the difficulty. I do not play this, okay? If you're looking to have fun at Cao Cao, you just want to roll through the map, do not play this. You will spend more time running away and desperately trying to build up than doing anything else. Very last one, Liu Bei. Of the Three Kingdoms, easily Liu Bei is the most difficult one to play as in this game. Now, which scenario for Liu Bei is the most difficult? What if I told you all of them? Okay? All of them. I do not recommend that anyone play as Liu Bei ever. Okay? Especially if you're a new player. So let's just go through all the scenarios. All of Liu Bei's pre-Three Kingdom scenarios. Pre-formation of the Three Kingdoms. Okay, and let's just check out the ratings. Here we have 190. Dongzhuo, 5-star rating. Everything starts from surviving. You can see we're sandwiched between Yuan Shao, Han Fu, Liu Dai, locked in a coalition in this one. Let's go to the next one. 194, Warlords. Everyone's favorite, Warlords. Okay? Everything starts from surviving. 5-star difficulty. Why? Cao Cao, right next to you. Gaining power. You're stuck in the tiny little city of Xiaopei. Xiaopei, again, historically, a small, basically a county city. Very small city, can't develop. Depending on the game, you may get the Taoqian event where you inherit Shu province. It doesn't matter. You're still sandwiched between Cao Cao, Lubu, Yuan Shu. 200 AD, the Battle of Guandu. Now you have Shu province. But that's it. Cao Cao has all of the central plains to the west. Yuan Shao has northern Hebei. Sun Ce set up in Jiandong. I mean, 3-star rating. Let's join Yuan Shao in opposing Cao Cao, and then what? Okay? And then what? Liu Bei, he really mirrors Moses, okay? It's just all of Liu Bei's playthroughs until he gets established. It's like 30 years, okay? Moses spent 30 years in the desert trying to find the promised land. Same idea with Liu Bei. Liu Bei just getting kicked around the map in every game. All of the traditional historical starts. But let's continue. The infamous 3 visits, Battle of Chibi, depending on the game, depending on which one you're playing. You have one city, you're staring down the hordes of Cao Cao. You might be able to event chain, but again, as a new player, you might not make it that long. Okay? You might not make it that long. Now, after this, depending on the game, Liu Bei will be set up in Shu. But think about it. As a new player, you want to run around with the 3 brothers, destroy enemy armies. In Romance of the Three Kingdoms, it is very, very hard to jump in and play as Liu Bei. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend anybody ever play as this guy for any reason. Okay, maybe if you want to do the 3 visits, if you want to do the traditional 3 visits run that every veteran does eventually, maybe that once in a while. But as a new player, I especially don't recommend it. You will learn and pick up so many bad habits playing as Liu Bei. Even if you get through it, it will stunt your growth as a player, okay? You would think like, okay, surviving as Liu Bei or maybe scraping by to get the events to go off. No, you still pick up bad habits playing as Liu Bei. Easily the hardest of the 3 kingdoms to play as. Pre-3 kingdom, of course, nobody's going to play, I'm not going to say nobody, but rarely do people play the Wei Wu and Shu starts later on. So that's it. Those are the 3. Sun Jian, again, Sun Jian, Yellow Turban Rebellion. The only way to survive is to run away. Cao Cao, 190, it's a rehash. Run away, try to hold out, wait for the event to go off for Lubu. I'll say this for Cao Cao. I will say this for Cao Cao, for Wei start, at least you have the event coming that can save you. The Yellow Turban Rebellion traditionally doesn't have an event, so that goes against Sun Jian. However, Sun Jian does have the empty Southland, so you can just keep running, okay? Cao Cao cannot keep running. Sooner or later, you have to dig in and try to wait for the event to go off. That's a little bit more difficult than Sun Jian, where you can just run from city to city and just keep running until the AI has to stop and build up, at which point you can turn around. But again, very bad habit. As a new player, not a very good thing. I don't know why they didn't rate it a 4 out of 5. Cao Cao's 4 out of 5, anti-Dongzhuo coalition. Very tough run. And then of course Liu Bei, all of them, okay? All of them. Look, you go from 207 and 208 to Assault on Henzong in the base game, okay? In the Romance 14. These are EP episodes that were added with the DLC or the strategy pack later on. So you go from 207, 10-year jump to where he's finally established. But base Liu Bei, he's awful in all of them. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. These are evergreen newbie traps. Newbie traps of the 3 kingdoms. Doesn't matter what game you're playing, do not play any of those when you're first learning the game. Wait until you get the systems. Wait until you sit down and you say, okay, I'm ready for some pain. But do not play those. Even if you get through them, you will pick up bad habits. They teach bad player habits. So stay away from them at first. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care.